this fellow absolutely needs no introduction. He's a fellow friar, Robert Davi. And the main thing about him, you could tell by the hat, he, as well as my brother and I, are avid Frank Sinatra fans. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Well, beyond that, I did my first film with Frank Sinatra in 1977, so he became a friend. And in an Italian family, my family was from Naples and Sicily, and so they came at the turn of the 19th century. And there are two figures in an Italian family. They were Pope and Sinatra, and not necessarily in that order. Of course, you had Tony Bennett and DiMaggio as well. But Sinatra was
Frank Sinatra
was the guy because he was the first one, the first superstar to come out against anti-Semitism and racial bigotry, and give the Italian immigrant a dignity that they hadn't had before. If you think about it.
No, it's true.
You know,
he actually jumped over the fence for real.
And he gave them not only that, but he encouraged the Italian. The stereotype of Italian, because now you had a leading man in film and an outstanding singer, and he brought the bel canto technique to singing. Now, I studied opera as a kid. I grew up in Dix Hills. I went to Seton Hall High School in Patchogue.
Seton Hall, wow.
In Patchogue. And I started to study opera as a young boy, and also loving the Great American Songbook. So several years ago, I directed a film called The Dukes, me and Ches Palminteri, 2008, where I just started to sing a couple of songs. And then in 2011, went to Capitol Records, did a demo of 4 songs, which we gave to Phil Ramone, the great record producer,
Sure.
and he then produced my album, Davi Sings Sinatra on the Road to Romance, which went to #6 on Billboard Jazz. And we built my show, Davi Sings Sinatra, which was a tribute to Sinatra, the Great American Songbook, and America. Because I felt that our nation was so frayed and so divisive, this is 2011, and the growing foment in our nation, that this music, the Great American Songbook, was something that was a cohesive, unifying principle.
Sure.
Because it was an amalgam of the American experience. It comes from the black jazz and jump blues artists, the Welsh, Scottish, Irish, English, American Indian, Lebanese immigrants.
Streets of Brooklyn.
And then a large portion from the sons and daughters of Jewish immigrants. You could say without the Jews, there would be no Great American Songbook.
Right.
And this message was lost on the world for years. No one was really bringing that up. So 2011, I started doing my shows, and I did a film called The Iceman. I met Danny A, terrific actor, producer, entrepreneur, and we became friends. He came to a couple of my shows, saw the reaction from the audience, and then I wrote a script. I said, hey, you want to produce this? He goes, you know what? I'd rather do a documentary, following you around, doing the music.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
So that's what we did, and I had this big idea, this big dream to recreate the main event in Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
All right, this was for his 100th anniversary.
That's right. You got the Stones for that. That's pretty good.
You know what I mean? So this was the idea. And the film then catalogs this Rupert Pupkin-esque kind of dream that I may have had, wanting to do this in Madison Square Garden, and the pitfalls and the comedy and the humor and also the heartbreak of...
So do you have your own little rat pack that follows you around?
Well, there's a couple of people. No, not necessarily like that, but no, there's a group of people. I mean, I think we're all rat packers at heart. I think the 60s, there was a time when political correctness was humor. It was frayed with humor and not with stapling our lips and tongues together. And that was something that was sweet back then about it.
It was. If you go back, and we're big fans of that era of music and television and everything, and if you listen to Louis Prima and watch his
How funny
act,
was that?
I tell you, and that influenced Frank incredibly, because that type of camaraderie and joking and everything.
With Keely Smith and with his band and everything?
Now, bear in mind, that was after his last show. He would go to relax and see this guy in a lounge somewhere, and he would kill him.
Yeah.
Absolutely kill him.
I got the Louis Prima Entertainer of the Year award in New Orleans 2 years ago. Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, which was a great honor. Then I went to his tomb, Louis Prima's tomb in New Orleans.
There's a place in Brooklyn where my brother and I are originally from Brooklyn, and it's called Leone's. And
I went there.
You went there. And
the owner was recently had something happen to him.
Right. But they deliver to somewhere in New Jersey, I believe. Keely Smith is still going. And they deliver, veal cutlets and different things to her. I don't know, she's probably up there in age. But it was comforting.
What a legend.
Oh, she was unbelievable. Without her, the act would be like a lot softer.
Her deadpan was incredible.
Incredible.
How she used to keep a straight face, but that music and that kind of humor which was good. I mean, it was good-natured. It was, yeah. I miss those days. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, you're right. We are, of course, a nation of immigrants. We've always been a nation of immigrants. But in those days,
that phrase, if I may interject,
yeah,
because it's an important phrase, and we hear it a lot these days, a nation of immigrants, which begs the excuse for letting it happen and letting anybody come in that should come in. When my grandparents came, they wanted to come to America. They told me, speak of the English. Speak of the English, America, in America, speak American. This is what they taught you. Today we have an immigrant influx that is so massive, they're not assimilating, they're not integrating. Angela Merkel just said last week that multiculturalism is a lie. She came out and said this in the speech. Merkel, the president of Germany, prime minister of Germany. Multiculturalism is a lie because the lack of assimilation and integration is going to create, as I say, Kosovo in 50 years.
Well, you know, it is the melting pot. And
we're
right. And we're first generation. My parents, they came here. And,
from where?
From Italy. Right.
Italiani.
Calabrese.
Calabrese.
Sì.
And 'Ndrangheta. You know 'Ndrangheta?
Oh, sure.
Madonna, the 'Ndrangheta. The Calabrese, tough. I have some great friends in Woodbridge. All Calabrese. We're doing a big concert November 18th in Woodbridge.
And now we'll break for commercial. No,
yeah.
Not really. The Andrakana is for the uninitiated, something else.
And then look, here's what the Ndrangheta is. Sicilian has the mafia, the Neapolitans have the Camorra, and then the Calabrese have the Ndrangheta. And it's the factions of those underworld guys in different factions. They're a fascinating world, and you know, the three cultures, how they. But anyway, that's just for the uninitiated, so to speak.
And the next lesson.
Next thing is grand jury. I'll be there Tuesday night. Go ahead.
I know. The FBI will definitely be after us.
Hey, I went before the grand jury.
You did?
Yeah, because I had lunch with a guy that I shouldn't have had lunch with, didn't knowing that I shouldn't have had lunch with him. But you know, that's again, I never felt victimized because I was innocent.
Right.
When they say about racial profiling, the Italians have been racially profiled their whole lives. Big deal. Big deal. If you're innocent, you're innocent. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? I mean, right now, anyway, don't want to get political.
No, I don't want to do that. Because I'm going to go on to my Uncle Tony, who he was innocently killed a guy with a pencil, you know.
Really?
But the guy ran into the pencil 50 times, but you know what I mean.
It's a shame. That's a good one. 50 times. He ran into the pencil.
But anyway, I digress. But this movie and your fascination with Frank Sinatra is really amazing. And was it difficult to put it into this form, into a form?
Well, that was the director. You should talk to Tom Donahue, the director. He's a documentary filmmaker because he is the one that Danny hired, his company, to commandeer the journey. And you never know where you're going to go with a documentary film. You know, you have one idea, and then it takes the twists and turns, and I kind of like know what makes things theatrical in a way and create conflict. And we let it, you know, we let life happen. So I wasn't holding back, you know what I mean? I wasn't holding back my own.
So when you first sat in a darkened theater and looked at this thing.
It'll be tonight.
Tonight.
It'll be tonight.
Okay.
I'll see it for I've seen a rough.
But not in a theater with other people.
Not in a theater with other people.
Okay.
This will be the first moment.
But it's going to be interesting to see the gauge. They should have all instruments on you to see how they gauge your response, with like what you focus on.
Well, I know what I'll focus. I mean, look, I let it hang out there again. I wasn't. I didn't saccharinize my frustrations, nor my demands. I didn't do that. I let people into the somebody's instantaneous response to what's happening around them without worrying about, am I going to come off looking sensitive or good? I just wanted to be in the moment and honest, and sometimes push the buttons on purpose.
And no movie would be a movie without the director. I'm here with Tom Donahue. And Tom worked with Robert Davi on his project. And what brought you to that project, Tom?
We had a mutual friend named Danny A., an incredible producer. And Danny had the idea of hiring me and my production company and my producer, Ilan Arboleda, to follow Robert as he went on this journey for a year, trying to put on a concert at Madison Square Garden in celebration of his idol, Frank Sinatra's 100th birthday.
Right. Right, that's unbelievable. He's a great fan of Frank.
Huge fan, obsessed with Frank Sinatra.
I know, as we all are. It's,
Yes, I agree. I have a great appreciation for Frank.
There's certain areas of Brooklyn that we don't think he died. That he's like, somewhere in Hoboken or in Beverly Hills.
Robert doesn't think he's dead
No.
either.
In
Yeah.
fact, somebody the other day said I had a drink with Frank just the other day at the Friars.
Wow.
He was the abbot of the
I don't
Friars
think
until he
anyone dies
died.
at the Friars, though. Don't they all go there after
No,
they
they
die?
still have lunch, believe it or not. I had lunch with Henny Youngman, didn't we, Ernie? Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, it's great. I wish you the best of luck with the movie, and it must have been a hell of a project to
You sure, are you
direct.
coming today to see it?
I think we have. We
We got something else going on. No, you should check it out, though, Greg. Seriously, it's a lot of fun with a crowd.
I know, and what I said to Robert is I'd love to see, like, if he had a camera and his reaction watching, the stuff.
This is what it'll look like. Ready?
Well, you have it here. This is like the best recreation we can have.